Network website and just wanted to go through some of the exercises. I want to make this into a series where we finish all of these exercises and like all the mini projects that they have in between them. But today I just feel like doing the first three just to get my foot through the door. And as you can see, I've looked through a couple of them. That's why they're hovered over or show that they've been hovered over. Uh, Today I just want to do the first three. Two of these are 1 chilies. The last one is 2 chilies, just on the difficulty. But I don't think any of these are too difficult. They even give you explanations or hints on how to do them. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, so for that first exercise, it wants us to create a program that asks the user to enter their name and age and print out the message addressed to them. It tells them the year that they will turn 100 years old. So if we look down, it shows us how do we get inputs. So the name equals input function to get user inputs, and then showing us how to print that name by making it a variable. Also shows us to get the age input and then change that into an integer. We can even do that in one line by doing int input and then asking for the age. It's showing us how to add the variables together in a string so they can both print out together. I think that's all we need to know. So there's this last part where we want to find out what year they would turn 100 years old. All right, so let's get into it. So for our first variable, we want to declare a name variable, which is going to equal inputs, and then just a statement to enter name. Usually I like to put colon and then space so it looks nicer for the user input. And then our age inputs, we're going to do integer, change that to integer value, and then asking for the inputs. And then giving, then we want to give question there. So enter, want to give, there we go. So now we have input asking for name and age. And now for the turn 100s, we want to get their age. So I'm gonna make a variable year to 100. That's gonna be equal to. So to get what year they turn 100, we want to take 100 minus their age. Let's put these in parentheses. 100 minus user's age, and then add 2022 because that's the current year. So now we want to print all the information. So print, and let's make little nice print statements. Let's make an F string. An F string just allows you to put, without putting plus signs or closing your string, and you put an F string, you're able to put variables into it using curly brackets. So that's what we're doing right now. So we want to do your name is curly bracket, put name in here, and you are curly brackets again, age, and then you also will turn hundreds and the year. And then we put the variable year to 100. And now if we run this, it should ask us for a name, day, age, 17. And the year I turn 100 is 2105. Okay, so the next exercise is odd or even. Okay, it wants us to ask the user for a number. Depending on whether the number is odd or even, print out the appropriate message. Hence, how does an even/odd number react differently to when divided by 2? So right now it's showing us modular arithmetic. So this will give us the answer. So yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, so it'll give us the remainder of the answer. So 6 divided by 3, there's no remainder, so it's 0. 7 divided by 3, there's 1 remainder. So with this one is actually like really simple. I think it's since you don't really require anything. So our first input we want to get is the user number. Make sure I'm spelling everything right. User number, we want to do inputs. And then, and since it's a number, we also want to put an integer value in front of it. What is your number? Make sure I add that extra parentheses at the end since I didn't have it. All right, now we want to do if statements. So if then statements will see if the number is odd or even. So to check if it's odd or even, so if the number is even, it will have a remainder of 0 when divided by 2. So if user number modular 2 equals 0, and then print your number is even. Else, it's just else, then we want to print your number is odd. All right, now let's test this out. If we put 2, that's an even number. Let's try 24. It's also an even number. Now let's try an odd number. 19, it's an odd number. So that's how we do that program right there. Really simple. Just use the modular function and then if statements. If and else statements. Shouldn't be too hard. So let's comment that out and move on to the next problem. Okay, our next problem is list less than 10. It wants us to write a program that prints out all the elements of a list that are less than 5. So this one is going to require user input a list. Basically what I want to do for this is put it in a function. So basically a function is a part of the program that you can run separately from the other program or that you can call at any time. So we're gonna make this a function. So we want to do define, which is def. So def, let's just call it less than 10. Less than 10, and then it's gonna require a list. Let's just make this list equal n. All right, so, and then for this, let's do a for loop. So for items or numbers, let's do numbers. It doesn't really matter what we call this. For nums, and n, if num, okay, if num, okay, for numbers and list, okay, there we go. If num is, it's less than 5, right? Let's start less than 5, so not including 5. If is less than 5, then rents num, and then parentheses. Don't forget the parentheses. It doesn't say if it wants us to print this in like the same string or not, so I'm not going to write this in one line of Python. Instead of printing the elements one by one, make a new list. We could also do that. Yeah, let's do make a new list so we can print them all out. So for that, we would want to do new list, which should equal empty. And then we want to call down here new list dot append, and then append num, since that is the number that is less than 5. So after this for loop, we want to just print new list. Now if we call this function, so below here, let's make a list actually. So let's do rocks, I don't know, whatever, it's just numbers. Numbers equals list. Let's do 1 for 10, 12, 3. Let's do a floats 0.5 and 6. And then let's call this less than 10 function, less than 10, and then run numbers through it, and then we'll see what it prints. As you can see, it prints 1, 4, 3, and 1.5 because they're all less than 5. So with that, we're finished with all the problems I wanted to get through today, all the exercises. I hope that I was, informative enough for you guys to understand. This is really the easy stuff, and I feel like everything on the website is easy. I recommend going on the website yourself and trying some of these problems. With that, I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.